Tonight, the tragic cost of the Post Office Horizon IT scandal. An independent inquiry identifies 13 people who may have taken their own lives. Also tonight, struggling to balance the books, a union warns of further uncertainty over jobs at Aberdine University as it cuts budgets. It's a traditional taste of the northeast of Scotland, but is a sweet rowie a hit or a miss?
Have you tasted anything quite like it?
I don't think so. Very sweet and really hits the spot.
No, I think I'll get no. I think
Have a go.
No, thank
Why
you
not?
very much.
Why not?
I just think a rowie's a rowie.
And in sport, the world's top golfers gather at the Renaissance Club for the Scottish Open. Good evening, I'm Norman MacLeod and this is the STV News at 6, live from Aberdeen. An inquiry into the Post Office Horizon scandal has found 13 people may have taken their own lives as a result of the suffering they endured. 59 others were found to have contemplated suicide. The first volume of the final report laid bare the devastating consequences. 64 people in Scotland have had their convictions overturned after wrongly being accused of theft and fraud. Our political correspondent, Ewan Petrie, reports.
Rab Thompson spent almost 20 years fighting to have his embezzlement conviction overturned. He was among those caught up in the post office scandal who gathered to hear the first part of the report from the inquiry.
Many people have inevitably suffered emotional turmoil and significant stress in consequence. Many businesses and homes have been lost. Bankruptcies have occurred. Marriage and families have been wrecked.
Rab's case featured in the report to illustrate the human impact of this scandal. His fight for full and fair compensation goes on.
There is people out there who will not see a penny of this because of the amount of debt that the post office has put them into. So really what I am fighting for is to get them as much as possible, to get them, to give them something, to have them have a sort of, not have a decent life, but give them something to enjoy, because how are you going to get the years back that you've been fighting for?
The report found the post office and Fujitsu, which operated the Horizon software, knew, or at the very least should have known, it had faults. It criticised the unnecessarily adversarial attitude of the post office towards making compensation payments. And it said there was a real possibility 13 people took their own lives as a result of the suffering they endured.
I really am genuinely sorry, but I think also there's been lots of words, lots of apologies. It's time for action. When I speak to victims, and I've spoken to victims this morning, what they want now is action. So that's what I, working with the government, want to do.
Yes, compensation. Yes, justice, but without the truth, we can't do either of those.
It was an ITV drama which turned the spotlight on the suffering caused by the false allegations. Today, the UK government announced some family members of victims will be eligible for compensation.
I cannot assuage the anger of the victims, nor will the anger I feel on their behalf ever be assuaged. But we are determined to do more on redress and beyond, and to do it quickly, to give more of the victims of this appalling scandal at least a measure of the peace they so rightly deserve.
But some who watched their family business reduced to ruins have little faith in this inquiry. Ravinder had his conviction overturned last year after falsely admitting to theft to protect his mother when she was accused of stealing from the post office.
Having an inquiry and having to be able to read through your past trauma without anybody getting charged, without anybody being held accountable, that's not good.
Do you feel you can ever get justice then for this?
See the people who died before this story broke, they don't know they've been exonerated. There is no justice for them. Justice is off the table.
This report may mark an important milestone for so many families who've suffered for so many years. but justice for some still feels a long way off. Ewan Petrie, STV News.
Well, as we heard in Ewan's piece just there, justice for many is going to take a while. Our reporter Ollie Dickinson is at Westminster. Ollie, you were at today's release. How would you sum it up?
Well, I'd describe the mood, Norman, as far from being one of celebration. It was much, much more measured than that. For people like Rab, they still have a huge amount of frustration, of anguish, of pain over what happened. These people suffered not only huge financial losses, but were also blamed in their communities, shunned by some of those closest to them, lost friends, and in some cases even tragically lost their lives. They're desperate for answers and they want them quickly.
Some harrowing evidence. What happens next?
Well, Sir Wyn made it clear that he expects there to be a significant UK government reaction. He wants to see a written response to his recommendations by no later than the 10th of October. He then wants Fujitsu, the company, if you remember, behind that faulty Horizon software, the Post Office and the UK government to get together and outline a programme for what he calls restorative justice. That should come no later than the 31st of October. I took his tone today as measured, but also of a man who wants to see more action from those who have the power to change things.
And what about the rest of the inquiry? When can we expect to hear more from Sir Wyn?
Well, those impacted desperately want to see more action. They want to see those responsible held to account, but they also know that action is some way off. This was part one. Part two will look potentially at some of those who might be considered responsible. The police will then have to look into whether or not there's any criminality. As one participant said to me today at the end of reading that report, I fear we will be back here next year and beyond.
OK, Ollie Dickinson in London, thank you. A union at Aberdeen University warns there's further uncertainty over jobs as the institution struggles to meet a target of millions of pounds worth of savings. £5.5 million is required to plug a financial black hole, with voluntary redundancies and enhanced retirement schemes now extended to help close that gap. Grainne Griachan is at the university for us now. Grainne, what will this mean for staff?
Well, I think it's fair to say that it's been quite a concerning time for many staff here at Aberdeen University over the past few months. The financial situation has meant that staff promotions have been frozen and recruitment paused. But most concerning has been the voluntary severance scheme, which was of course set up to try and tackle this financial gap. Now, the university must make savings of £5.5 million before the next academic year, and that is of course just in a couple of months' time. So in an email to staff this week, management said they were feeling cautiously optimistic that they had achieved around £4 million worth of savings, but of course that does leave a £1.5 million gap. So they've now extended this enhanced recruitment and voluntary severance scheme until September.
And what's the response from staff?
Well, the union UCU says staff are feeling uncertain about their jobs and they're calling for compulsory redundancies to be ruled out. But of course, Aberdeen University isn't the only institution in this position. Across the city, lecturers at Robert Gordon University were on strike earlier this year, and there's further strike action there in September.
Grainne, many thanks. Police are treating an early morning fire on a Broughty Street as deliberate. Officers were called to a blaze on Panmure Terrace just before 3 this morning. It led to the nearby Abercrombie Street being sealed off. No one was injured. Police say inquiries are ongoing. The leader of Dundee City Council has expressed shock and sadness at the death of a scientist. Dr. Fortune Gomo, who was 39, was seriously injured on the city's South Road on Saturday afternoon. 20-year-old Kyla Rattray appeared in court yesterday charged with her murder. He made no plea and was remanded in custody.
I was, like most of the city, if not all the city, shocked and saddened by the news we heard. And Dr. Gomo's family, I have to put my condolences out firstly to them, because I think it's important that we recognise the family's situation in this particular case. And I'm really shocked, and I think everyone in the city is feeling the same.
A new government-funded restaurant is to open in Dundee next summer in a bid to tackle food inequality. Westminster has announced an £8.5 million grant for a series of projects aiming to provide nutritious food for families from deprived backgrounds. An exact location for the restaurant has yet to be revealed. Researchers will review its success before potentially rolling out further projects across the UK. Now, how's this for getting your steps in? At the incredible age of 99, Dennis Arnold is taking on a daily walking challenge at his Perthshire care home. He'll have to cover around half a mile a day to meet his target and raise extra funds to help fellow residents get out and about. Susan Nicholson went to meet him.
It is a little bit wet today, but you're going to get wet, all sorts of weather on your walk.
Oh, yes. I'm all prepared for that.
Are you ready for anything?
Yes. If I get wet, I can change afterwards.
Come rain, hail or shine, Dennis Arnold will be walking every day this month around the grounds of his care home in Cooper Angus.
Well, thing is...
What's the idea behind you doing this walk?
Well, I did hear, you see, that they would like a little bit more cash to put the, the icing on the cake for activities. So I thought, well, I'll do a walk.
99-year-old Dennis will clock up around 16 miles, the equivalent of walking to and from his former home in Alyth.
I've done 15 days of training and I've recorded that, mainly so that I understand, how far I can walk without falling over. I hope I can do it.
Did you walk a lot when you were younger?
Yes, I did in Alyth, because when I was very young, yes, we used to do mainly skating, roller skating.
Did you?
Dennis served in the Royal Army Medical Corps during the Second World War as an engineer on hospital ships. He moved to Scotland to take up a teaching post at Dundee's Kingsway Technical College and has never stopped learning and keeping active.
Yes, I've enjoyed life, but I really don't know how I got through to 99. I don't know.
Really?
I have no
Maybe the
reason.
secret is you've kept active.
Yes, I've been active, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's the idea, so that we can move about occasionally. Or see, there's some people here who are very physically disabled.
Yes.
It'd be rather nice if we had something that they could take part in. So that's what it's all going in that direction.
Susan Nicholson, STV News.
Now, a sportswear giant has teamed up with Harris Tweed to give one of its most popular styles of trainers a Hebridean makeover. The traditional fabric has already been a hit on the catwalk as part of the creations for international brands and some of the world's top fashion designers. Oliver Wright has more.
This sportswear icon has been given a Hebridean makeover, and now an unapologetically Scottish version of the trainers is about to hit the shelves.
To develop a collection and then to see that as a finished shoe and a finished trainer is really exciting for me and the whole team here at Harris Tweed Hebrides.
They've been in development for well over a year, and there's already excitement around their release.
I was not expecting that, and the colours are amazing. I can definitely see you wearing a pair of those.
I feel like I see you in the pink and the purple.
Oh, probably. Maybe
And
me in the
then-
pink and the purple.
Yeah, then I'll wear one of the darker colours.
They're one of my favourite brands, and to see them in Harris Tweed was really unusual, but also very appealing. I think I'd definitely be looking at getting myself a pair.
It's not the first time the sportswear giant has collaborated with the weavers. Fashion houses like Dior, Chanel and Vivienne Westwood have also been bringing the Scottish fabric to the world.
The mill here is all about working with lots of different customers from around the world, but also lots of different sectors. And what that means for us is that we have less seasonality. So trying to ensure there's work for everyone across the industry year round. And to do that, we're looking at shoe customers, bag customers, ladies wear apparel, men's wear as well, but also furniture. So looking at lots of different sectors to try and ensure we have work on a year-round basis.
I think the traditional aspect of it still has its place. We still find customers are looking for your traditional colours, you know, herringbones, dogtooth. But there's also a place for the modern designs, bright colours.
The trainers are expected to hit the market this autumn. Oliver Wright, STV News.
And that takes us nicely to the sport with Stephen Brown.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
A very good evening to you. Dundee United manager Jim Goodwin says he's undertaking another big rebuild as he eyes European football again this coming season. But Goodwin admits taking part in Europe means he wants to get as much business done as possible early in the summer. Jim Goodwin has had some major rebuilds of squads during his managerial career, and this season seems no different. United have already signed several players ahead of the upcoming campaign, but Goodwin is hoping to depend less on the loan market this year.
Every single year it seems to be one big rebuild after another. Obviously we lost a lot of key players last year. We were, relied heavily on the loan market as well, which is something that we're trying to change a little bit this season. But yeah, I mean, look, we've got a job on our hands to, put a squad together that's going to make us as competitive as possible.
United drew 1-1 with Arbroath at the weekend in a friendly. One of Goodwin's new signings, Bert Esselink, grabbing the goal for United, and he believes Scotland will prove the perfect place for him to propel his career.
I think everyone knows also the story about Virgil van Dijk and how it went, and it's been in my young years that I followed that story, and maybe it always admired me how that went and how he's doing now. That's of course outstanding. I've been following that, and I've been also told that it might be a good league for me to excel and that it will suit me well.
United flew out to the Netherlands yesterday for a week-long training camp. That's ahead of their Europa Conference League qualifier, but with those European games coming in just a couple of weeks' time, that's increased the urgency for Goodwin to sign new players.
Given the significance of the game, against the Luxembourg team, it does put a little bit of you have to speed up that recruitment process. There's no doubt about that, especially given the number of players that we lost in the summer. So I'm delighted with the work that we've done up to now, to have 7 new faces in the building. I don't think there's too many teams out there in the Premiership that have done as much as what we have done at this early stage.
Well, to golf now, and as he prepares to begin the defence of the Scottish Open, Robert McIntyre has been paired with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler and former Masters champion Adam Scott for the first 2 rounds. The tournament gets underway at the Renaissance Club in North Berwick on Thursday. Jamie Borthwick has more.
Whether it's with a golf club in hand or a hosepipe, everywhere you look around the Renaissance Club, preparations are ramping up.
This is our 7th year at the Renaissance Club, and the growth has been really strong, and particularly I think this year. I think we are, on the Saturday we're pretty close to our sellout, to our maximum number, and really excited by how tickets have sold. We've obviously got a world-class field, global players, the top 5 in the world, 8 of the top 10, the 4 recent major winners, and obviously Bob here defending. So we've got everything here, all set for a really exciting week.
The par 3 6th hole's arena of grandstands is evidence of the tournament's growth.
I think it adds to it a little bit. I think having something like this on a hole in a golf tournament, obviously this is a massive golf tournament, but I think this year you look forward to playing it, something a bit different. I think all for it.
Away from the fairways, the Scottish Open is building a festival atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute belter of a week. The big orange friend is out in the sky, and we've got amazing world-class golfers out there on the course, and what could be testy conditions if the wind gets up. But amongst all that, you've got this wonderful fan village that the Genesis Scottish Open guys have put together.
The game of golf is changing. The participation rates are very positive. A lot of people coming into golf, experiencing the sport for the first time. And I think the same should be true when you come to your first professional golf tournament. It's a full day. There's a lot going on, not just on the golf course with the world's best golfers playing, but also, as you know, the fan zone, the 6th hole, other experiences out. The beautiful 13th hole, a really spectacular part of the course.
Xander Schauffele is one of the superstars competing this week, but after a glittering 2024 season, the reigning Open champion is struggling to regain his form.
I don't go to bed at night saying, like, please talk about me, It was nice to see my photo up by the toilet. That was, heartwarming. summed up how I feel about what's going on right now.
Yes, golf is that most fickle of sports, but the popularity of the Scottish Open only goes from strength to strength. The tournament gets underway here at the Renaissance Club on Thursday. Jamie Borthwick, STV Sport, East Lothian.
And before we go, Scot Cameron Norrie is currently 2 sets down to Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz at Wimbledon. So a bit of a mountain to climb for him, fingers crossed. But that's all your sport for tonight.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Well, it's been a beautiful warm day in the east. It's going to continue warm. Here's Sean with the details.
Today sees sunshine, sand, and a spell of bamboo rafting. Tweed sponsors STV Weather.
A very good evening to you. We've got some red hot conditions on the way this weekend. Very high temperatures, an absolute scorcher. It's going to be one of the warmest days, I think, probably on Saturday of the year so far. We could even get close to 30 degrees in some spots. We'll have a look at those temperatures in a wee second. Now, for the time being today, we've had pleasant sunshine around, temperatures nudging into the low 20s, but more clouds spreading into from the west during tonight. Cloudy skies, and there will be some drizzly outbreaks of rain across Perthshire. Temperatures staying on the warmer side tonight, 13 to 15 degrees. Now, tomorrow morning, expect for us, it will be quite a slow start today. A lot more cloud around than we had earlier on today. A little bit breezier as well, but the clouds starting to thin and break up into the afternoon. And look at that map for you, 23 to 25 out there tomorrow. So it is going to feel very warm in that sunshine. Of course, remember the UV levels are at the highest point of the year. Your sunburn time down below 30 minutes. So remember that suntan lotion whilst you're enjoying that sunshine over the next few days. We still hang on to the best of the breaks on Thursday, but for the whole country, the northwest of the country, they're going to be stuck with cloud over the next couple of days, but they start to get more sunshine Friday and during the weekend. So for all parts, it's going to be a cracker of a weekend, and it is going to be a hot weekend as well. Top spots on Saturday and also on Sunday, I think, are probably going to be around Perth, Pitlochry and Scone. Top temperatures up to about 28 or 29 on Saturday. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And finally, they're synonymous with the North East, and the debate over their name remains fierce. Rowies or butteries, depending on what you call them, are a popular traditional treat. Now, a bakery has rolled out a new version, which is a far cry from the original. Anne Smith's been putting it to the taste test.
Sweet tooths, you're in for a treat. These famous northeast delicacies have had a makeover. Traditionally, rowies or butteries, as they're also called, are salty savouries. But one Aberdeen baker's broken tradition by creating a sweet version.
You're covering them in this sweet icing.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
I will fill them with cream, jam, and then top them with another glazed buttery. I really wanted to make something that was going to be controversial, and I think butteries was the perfect product to do that with, because a buttery, you either like it or you don't.
What's going on now?
I'm creaming them, and then after will be jam. If you look at it, you might think, oh, that's too much, but
I hate to think of the number of calories in these.
Honestly, it could always be worse.
I know what you're all thinking. What does it taste like? Well, the proof is in the pudding.
Better than the traditional rowie? It's good as.
There's lemon.
I don't fancy it.
No, I don't, thank you.
You know it's a rowie. It's actually a buttery.
Yes, it's all the stuff in it. It doesn't, I feel.
Oh dear.
Not only tasty, but the texture.
Rowies are synonymous with the North East. They were originally made for fishermen to keep their strength up at sea. Over 35,000 are rolled out at this award-winning family business every week, and this innovative version is going down a treat.
They've sold out I think pretty much every day that we've put them out, but usually before lunchtime, so you have to be quick.
I just think a rowie's a rowie.
Oh, so
Butter.
Is this upsetting you that they've done this?
Well,
to
it's
the rowie?
not upsetting me, but it's not for me.
It's like a sandwich.
It is like a sandwich, yeah. That's what we're calling it just now, just the buttery sandwich until we get a better name for it.
Aber delicious.
Oh, there
Aber
we are.
delightful.
Oh, you're too good at this.
Aber give me more.
The new delight is creating a buzz, with shoppers already eyeing it up as a must-try sweet treat. Gosh, this is messy. Mmm. Good.
Yeah, is it?
Oh, it is.
Bound to split the North East public, and of course the diet starts for Anne tomorrow. That's all for now. I'll be here again with late news at 10:30. For the moment, have a good evening.